he's working in a bookstore, and I'm like, but you're a monk. He's like, I'm doing a favor for a friend. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, And then we started
Sure.
hanging out together, and going for like a walk every now and again. And he was a really, really, really nice guy, and he recommended a book called the 8 Steps to Happiness by Geshe Kelsing Pao Rinpoche. All right,
Wow.
so reading that book and just like trying to understand a little bit more about like what life offers,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, and just starting those questions and then unraveling that as I traveled. Like when I lived in Indonesia, I was friends with a guy who was an imam in a mosque there, and actually had lost faith, and he stepped away from the Islamic faith, which is a big deal. And even though he still believed, he'd never practiced it in the same way again, and having those kinds of conversations with him too. And then realizing that like everybody's got these set old traditional structures of thinking about it. And so what I did is like, we're
What's
talking
it? Define it for me. Thinking about emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thinking about how to process life.
Okay.
Like, is anger justifiable? Is
Yeah.
anger something necessary? Like what's honor? Like, is honor something that's built into humans? Is this something that, and asking those kinds of questions, I eventually got to a place where I'm like, let me wipe the board clean and just observe human behavior and take a look at it for myself. And so like from there, and being able to observe, and with, let's say, eyes unclouded, starting to look at how humans interact, how humans behave. And that's when I started getting into like a lot of research and being able to interpret the research in those ways based on like, well, what can I see people doing? And a lot of the times it's, we get angry at ourselves, and we get frustrated because needs aren't being met. So like, yeah, let's just say it took a decade to be able to really get to that point of
Yeah.
dissolving a lot of those emotions.